bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real?
The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. For the rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.
All right, guys, what do you say we hop right into it? How's everybody doing? Welcome back. Once again, I am Boston Brian, and this is the Blunt Politics Podcast. Thank you once again for joining me. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. It means a lot. I know it may not feel like it, but if you just hit that one button and then you subscribe to the channel, YouTube, all of a sudden, it gets its little panties in a bunch, and it's like, we should send this out to other people. So why don't you get YouTube's panties in a bunch? Hit that like button, share the stream out. What do you say we bring in the chat? How's everybody doing in the chat? What's going on, guys? What's up, Jen? What's up, Roxanne? What up, Gamer? What's up, Ask? How are you guys? What's up, Chris, Judy? What's going on, Rox, Victor? Appreciate you. What do you say? I'll just show you. There you are, you beautiful people. What's up, beautiful people? There you are. What's going on, guys? How are you? Appreciate you. What's up, Patui? What's everybody? What's going on, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram? Please make sure you hit the respective buttons, whatever those buttons do on that platform. I would be very appreciative if you just hit those buttons. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to dive into. Only an hour to do it on the Wednesday afternoon show. Want to give a big shout out to Matt, the letter hack over there, and everybody on this space. Thank you once again for including me into this coalition. Thank you to the mods over there for keeping that chat a safe place, as well as the fabulous mods in the best chat on earth over here on Blunt Politics. So we're going to a lot to get into. We're going to be talking about Marco Rubio is in front of the Foreign Affairs Committee testifying. So there's a couple parts in that I wanted to look at. I didn't get through the whole thing because I had to try to set up the show, but I know Tammy Duckworth had a couple good moments, a couple good points in there. So if I could at least show that part, and if we kind of dive into a few other aspects and a few other questions from a few other people, then so be it. We'll also be speaking about more of how the Republicans, or at least the gun nuts, you know what I mean, the 2A crew is starting to react. I know to a large extent on the overwhelming fucking basis, they have been very silent and very quiet about this. But like we showed yesterday, they are starting to speak up and starting to, get a little bit worried and discouraged at the, Second Amendment talk, and Donald Trump saying that you shouldn't have guns. The same thing that Kash Patel was saying. We brought it up before. Also, you're going to be here. Let me throw this on the screen because you're going to be really fucking, you won't believe who was a guest on here. Let me throw this on here. Who was a guest on the channel that we typically watch here to kind of gauge the temperature on the right side of things? Check this out, right? So this is Nate from Valhalla. You'll know him because we watch his show. Well, not watch his show, but we kind of use him as a thermometer to see what's going on the right. Look who he had on. Check this out. You're not even going to believe this. He sat down with Graham Platner, of all people. If you can fucking believe that. You know what I mean? That wasn't the combination I was expecting on this fucking show. And I was like, okay, let's see what he's talking about. Well, with the Second Amendment and, with pretty much Kristi Noem saying that Americans should be ready to have their papers available at all times. And I turn on, and who's on this channel is Graham Platner. And again, that's not the basis or why I'm covering this this clip or this video, so to speak. But I mean, I don't know what you read into that. I don't know if they're like old fucking, military buddies or what's going on, but definitely not the platform I expected Graham Platner to show up on. And again, getting the word out. I think they really didn't discuss too much. This wasn't much of an interview from what I saw. They basically just kind of discussing the Second Amendment aspects of what Donald Trump and the rest of the administration was saying. Didn't really get questioned on anything to that aspect, but we'll be diving into that a little bit. What else we got going on today? We got Trump getting heckled. Trump was heckled in Iowa. Trump made a fool of himself here with the Will Cain show. And sorry, I think it's a little glitchy. I apologize, guys, if it's a little glitchy for some reason. The computer is acting up a little bit today, so hopefully we can get it in. But yeah, so we'll be taking a look at a couple clips from Trump. But we also have, which is just ridiculous to see too, Tim Pool and Donald Trump Jr. putting their 2 cents in, where it's just going to be hypocritical. They're going to be fucking absolutely stomping on everything they've said previously about Ashley Babbitt, about Kyle Rittenhouse, and others. So we'll be diving into that and else. What's this one? one that I wanted to take a look at too. Some of them I don't even know where I pulled up. Oh yeah, Greg Kelly had something you wanted to fucking pop in and talk about too. But what I want to start off with is Ilhan Omar. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have been made aware or have seen about this incident that took place at her Minneapolis town hall yesterday, where this individual kind of stood up in the middle of things and squirted some sort of unknown substance. Still to this moment, as far as I've seen, I haven't seen any kind of confirmation on what the substance was. People said it kind of smelled like vinegar. But yeah, my props here and my respect go directly to Ilhan Omar for her reaction in this situation, which we'll watch it, but you can see her first reaction was not to run, was not to scurry away, was not to fucking let this guy, own the situation. She fucking raised her fist immediately and started charging at this son of a bitch. Okay. And if it wasn't for the security guard that came over and tackled him first, this guy should be damn lucky that fucking Ilhan didn't get her hands on him, because she was going to fucking do some work. Right. So again, in case you missed it, in case you didn't see it, here's just the instance in which this guy just decided to stand up and squirt some, again, unknown substance. And again, if it's been reported since, we go on the air here and you see it in the chat, let me know and I'll be happy to report it. But this is the incident that took place.
Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar there attacked while speaking at a town hall event in Minneapolis Tuesday night. In the video,
so you can see him squirting something, and look at her immediate reaction, right? She's looking at this guy like, you son of a bitch, right? Look at what she does, though.
Calls on DHS Secretary
right at him. Right fucking at. Look at the fist. Look at the fist. Bro, look at the fist right here. She got it already balled up, right? She got it already balled up. She ain't running the other way. She ain't calling for security, right? She's not fucking like Donald Trump and the rest of these picks that'll be like, oh, security, please, let me run the other way. Cover me. Nope. She wants to go at this motherfucker. And I give her all the props and the credit in the world, because not only did she do this is her reaction, but she also finished the event out. She wasn't going to let this guy interrupt or disrupt any of the fucking events that she's having. So she's an absolute G. But make no mistake, this is 100%, 1,000% coming directly from the rhetoric from Donald Trump and the rest of the Republicans, okay? This is stochastic terrorism at its finest. And again, we don't know what the liquid was. God forbid it's some sort of toxic chemical or fucking acid or whatever the fuck, right? I mean, anything that maybe could have long-term effects on anybody that was kind of hit in the area. God forbid that was what's going on. But the fact that the stochastic terrorism aspect of this isn't being talked about more, and people aren't reliving and replaying Donald Trump's statements about Ilhan Omar, the Republican statements about Ilhan Omar, the claims about Ilhan Omar, the fucking falsities about her net worth that have been coming out, the disparaging of her fucking nationality, her religion, everything. So all of that has played a part and directly led to this fucking instance. And, luckily, it was only some liquid. And again, like I said, to this moment, I don't know what the liquid was, but God forbid it was a firearm or a knife or anything, much more egregious in that situation. Definitely some security protocols are going to have to be looked at. But this is, make no mistake about it, directly as a result of Donald Trump's fucking rhetoric about people in Minnesota, about Somalians, and about Ilhan Omar directly. And again, check out the reaction. I just want to play this one more time to give her due credit, to her flowers. Look at her reaction in this situation. She was like, you motherfucker.
Speaking at a town hall event in Minneapolis Tuesday night, in the video, seconds after Omar calls on DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to resign, a man approaches her, sprays an unknown liquid on her with a syringe.
Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
And again, the only reason she even backed away is because the security guard had already previously taken him to the ground. So again, glad to see she's okay. Thus far, glad to see that it wasn't, more of an assault. I'm glad to see this didn't end up worse than it could have ended up, and more worse than it did end up. So not only that, but good to see her fighting back. Good to see her not backing down. Good to see her in more ways than one going head on, face first into the challenges that she faces on a daily basis. So I just want to give props up to Ilhan Omar, and I hope everything is okay, and hope everybody that was kind of sprayed with that substance is okay, and nothing, no long-term effects, because that is clearly as a direct result. And I'm sure we could probably find something calling the where this guy is proven to be. Let's see, Omar attacker. Let's just see if they found out anything about this guy. I'm sure. Let's see here. Let me throw this on the screen for you guys here. I just haven't had a chance to kind of follow up with who this guy is. I think I did see something where they said he had kind of changed his profile pictures a couple times to Donald Trump. Ilhan Omar attacker has a criminal history and made pro-Trump posts. Suspect in Ilhan Omar attack identified. Here's what we know. Let's just click this real quick, see what we can find out. During a town hall, a Democratic rep Ilhan Omar of Minnesota was sprayed with an unknown liquid in a syringe before the attacker was tackled and removed by security. The guy has been identified in Minneapolis police as 55-year-old Anthony J. Kazmierczyk. Multiple outlets reported he was arrested on suspicion of third-degree assault. Court documents show Kazmierczyk was convicted of driving while impaired in two separate incidents in 2010 and in 2009. On Facebook, Kazmierczyk has switched his profile pictures to Trump many times while also uploading cartoons criticizing Democrats' policies. In early January, a Quora account under the same name and profile picture as Kazmierczyk's Facebook account posted a racist question regarding descendants of slaves paying restitution to Union soldiers' families. Video footage shows Omar was calling for abolishing immigration and customs enforcement and for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to resign when the suspect jumped in front of her and sprayed her with liquid on her shirt. The staffers on the scene said in the video that it had a strong smell. The liquid had an orange color and emitted a strong vinegar-like odor. So following the incident, the town hall was briefly halted. Omar was visibly shaken, insisted on continuing the event, and called for Minnesotans to stay strong and resilient. She later posted on X that she was okay, and I think this was her statement. This moment in the U.S. history, and particularly Minnesota, requires all of us to be working together to preserve our democracy. When we say we are going to put our lives on the line for what is right, we meant that, Omar said in her speech following the attack. All right, so, just clear-cut evidence that Donald Trump's rhetoric, Donald Trump's policies, Donald Trump's continued demagoguing of people in Minnesota, the Somali population, and Ilhan Omar in particular, has directly led to not only violence and threats against Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, but also the egregious attacks that we now see here, and the violence and threats, the death threats that they get on a daily basis, like Ilhan Omar. So just wanted to make sure that we're staying vigilant and staying on top of these ongoing attacks and what the rhetoric and what the speech of the Republicans continues to do as far as stochastic terrorism. And again, just putting this bullshit and propaganda and lies out into the zeitgeist. You can be damn sure with the numbers and the population and the mental issues that we have in this fucking country, at some point, at some time, some fucking psychopath is going to act upon your bullshit, and you're going to be directly responsible for it because, you put that into the fucking, the zeitgeist to begin with. So again, let's dive into, if we can, Marco Rubio. And I know he's been testifying. I don't know if he still is, but he was in there for a while. A lot of people got their questions at him. A lot of people got their shots at him. Even some Republicans giving him a hard time on this one. Not all of them, obviously, but this was just kind of one moment that I wanted to draw back to, which was Tammy Duckworth, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And she kind of got her questions in before she had to rush her daughter to a dentist appointment. I believe she's getting dental surgery, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just go run through this part right here. I don't think it's only a couple minutes long. And then again, if we have time, if we find the inclination to do so, we can dive on to a few other people's, because I believe Tim Kaine also had a good moment in this. So, but again, for the sake of time, let's jump into here where Tammy Duckworth had her moment in the spotlight. So let's dive into it again. This is Marco Rubio testifying on the Venezuela matters in front of the U.S. Foreign Affairs Committee.
Both of you, Senator Van Hollen. Are you going to yield to Senator Duckworth? Okay, Senator Duckworth.
I thank my colleagues. My daughter has dental surgery, so they're being very kind so I can get her through that. Thank you. Mr. Secretary, last March, the president invoked the Alien Enemies Act, a notorious wartime law last used for Japanese internment. He said that he was responding to the Maduro regime's supposed invasion or other acts of war against the United States. But in recent weeks, you, the Department of Justice, and our friends across the aisle have repeatedly said that we are not at war with Venezuela. Secretary Rubio, if that is true and we are not at war with Venezuela, will you advise the president to rescind his invocation of the Wartime Alien Enemies Act?
Well, that was a mechanism to remove people from our country that prevent grave danger. So, for example, we know for a fact that Tren de Aragua is a very dangerous gang. In fact, I believe
The fact that he can't say Tren de la Ragua and is just fucking is just beyond fucking words. I just don't understand how nobody in this administration knows how to fucking say the name of the gangs that they're supposedly going after. It's kind of crazy. But here, Tammy is directly questioning him about the use, Donald Trump's use of basically the war powers that they've used without actually saying that we're at war right now. So basically she's talking about, okay, 1812, World War I, World War II, the only time in which this has been used, this has been invoked, and now we're doing it here. So are we at war? Are we not at war with Venezuela is the question, is the answer that she's looking for. And of course, Marco Rubio doing his best lawyer impression to try to dance around the question.
Mistaken, I may have been the first member of Congress.
This is a wartime act, Mr. Secretary.
Well,
are we currently at war with Venezuela?
No, we're not in a state of war in Venezuela.
Okay, the Supreme Court has described the Alien Enemies Act as a wartime power, our Supreme Court. And before now, the Alien Enemies Act was only invoked during the War of 1812, World War I, World War II, when it was used to intern thousands of innocent civilians. Are you really arguing that the president should be able to wield an internment law?
No, but we're talking about two separate things here. So you're talking about the state of
They're not two separate things. You're talking about the engagement that you guys undertook, and you're talking about the powers that you invoked in order to get that done. And she's saying that, are we supposed to believe that the president of the United States is going to have the power, the sole power in and of itself, to pull this Alien Enemies Act out of his ass, even when we're not at war, to give himself the utmost power? That's the line of question in here. And of course, Marco Rubio doesn't want to have to get into the answer.
Venezuela or are describing the regime. And we're talking about, but what the president designated.
Invoked the Alien Enemies Act.
I know, Senator, but let me be clear with you. No, but what the president was talking about are these gangs that have, and these narco trafficking groups that are waging war on the United States. There's no doubt. These groups have waged.
You see the difference? You see what they're trying to do here? So basically the fact that they're trying to say, okay, we're in some sort of narco terror war against these drug terrorists that are bringing drugs into the country. So we're using that as justification to invoke the Alien Enemies Act and use this wartime power in order to justify our actions when we're not at war. But we're going to say that we're at war with the drugs, but obviously we're not going to show you any evidence to suggest that we know for a fucking goddamn fact that there were any drugs on the boats that we've been striking. While also, again, using that as justification for the further action of removing Maduro, of bombing Caracas, of killing individuals in Venezuela, and removing their leader, whether legitimate or illegitimate, and then threatening them with a fucking gun to their head to steal their oil and to give us everything that we demand. Meanwhile, we still have a Maduro fucking regime acolyte, somebody that was directly responsible still while Maduro was in there for some of the fucking worst and most brutal atrocities, still representing that country right now, still leading that country right now. So what is the big change? And they've been asking him relentlessly, basically in this, what is the end goal here? At what point in time are you going to say that you've failed in your mission? Because we have one Maduro's, been removed, but he's got his acolyte in there, and she doesn't seem to be playing ball. Like what she's been saying on the world stage, what she's been saying in front of cameras, is not that she's cooperating or that she's with the United States by any stretch of the imagination. So at what point do you call this a direct failure in the fact that you can't just give the president all of these fucking powers and use these little minute justifications for these broader actions, right?
War on the United States. They have waged, for example, Tren de Aragua is not just a criminal gang presence in our street. It is a criminal gang directly responsible for narco trafficking.
The Trump administration.
There's no fucking active war being perpetrated on the United States. There's no way you can get anybody to believe that the money-making scheme of shipping fentanyl or shipping in cocaine or shipping in marijuana or whatever the fuck it may be is an act of war against the United States. It's an illegal money-making venture. It has absolute harm and consequences to people that they themselves choose to do these types of substances. But it is, again, not an act of fucking war that we could look at and say, okay, we're going to just unleash our military on anybody that's selling dime bags on the fucking streets, right? I mean, that's just not how it works. I know Reagan wanted this fucking huge war on drugs. But again, the war on drugs is not as it's labeled. It's not how it's being undertaken. And they're trying to, again, use this as justification when we can all see with our eyes. And even the fucking politicians and the senators in this fucking committee are saying, hey, I can't even tell you anything about the strikes on the drug boats because we've only been showed this shit in classified areas. So we've been kind of had our hands tied. We've been handcuffed and we're not allowed to talk about this. You know what I mean? The American people are not allowed to hear the information. This is not the most transparent administration that has ever fucking had the office like they've had you believe, right?
Administration has acknowledged that the vast majority of the men it rounded up and deported to torture under this law had no criminal records whatsoever.
We didn't torture
Independent,
anybody.
over 75%.
And again, listen to that, what she just said, and then listen to what he disputes in the claim. Okay, so 75% of the people, and I believe she's speaking specifically about the people deported to CCOT, right, in El Salvador, 75% of them had absolutely no record whatsoever. And again, that place, known for its specific brutality and the treatment of its fucking inmates, the citizens that are in there, and that's what she's referring to. But he doesn't even come close to saying, no, we didn't round up 75% of people that didn't have fucking criminal records whatsoever and send them to a country far away, to a place that's brutally maltreating them. No, we didn't do that. Basically, what he stated, the only thing he has a problem with is the fact that he said, or Tammy said, that they were being tortured. Listen to his, that's the only thing he fucking disputes.
Administration has acknowledged that the vast majority of the men it rounded up and deported to torture under this law had no criminal records whatsoever.
We didn't torture
Independent,
anybody.
over 75%.
Who did we torture? We haven't tortured.
And again, she repeats the number. Over 75%. And you would think the Secretary of State would be like, oh shit, that's a fucking problem. If the people that we're rounding up, over 75% of them have absolutely no fucking criminal record whatsoever, or a criminal record that in no way, shape, or form justifies the treatment or the deportation of such person. Like, maybe that's an issue, and maybe we should probably fucking address that. But no. His problem is with the specific word of torture, right? Which again has been well reported on and documented about the treatment of people, not only in CCOT in El Salvador, but also within the walls and the confines of Border Patrol, ICE, and DHS, right? You can see videos all over the fucking internet of the children that have been rounded up, screaming to be released, let me out. The screaming coming from within the walls of these fucking places and facilities now holding these people. So in every which category, you could put out the maltreatment, you could put out the torture, in every category. But the fact that still remains that 75% is being told to him and told to him and told to him, and it's not registering in his mind, or at least to the point where he gives a shit, or is at least willing to acknowledge that overwhelming amount of people that have been wrongly rounded up in this fucking action is wild, is fucking wild.
Anybody? We've arrested people that are members of gangs, and we've deported them. We don't want gang members in our country.
Investigations have found that many of the men were here legally. If the administration is willing to lie about who it's targeting under this law, what protections do totally innocent people have against abuse? Again, I want to ask you.
They have none, which is why you've seen repeatedly the ICE and DHS and Border Patrol agents continuously shooting and fucking flashbanging people that are just sitting there peacefully protesting. Every 15 minutes, they're getting shot with pepper balls. They're getting fucking sprayed in the face. Just for no reason, just for sitting there. But they want to fucking escalate the situation so they could have these interactions so that they can say, hey, look at how organized, and they want to beat cops and shit. And we'll be getting into that more in the show here, because this whole justification, or like saying that because the American people are so fucking pissed off and angry and are utilizing social media platforms and technology that exists to communicate and to, on some very fucking small level, organize, and then to use that as, like, again, the justification to say that this is like a huge paramilitary organization that is well funded, like, and should be treated as such, is fucking asinine. Right? It is clearly just the American people utilizing whatever technology lays in front of them, right? And again, we'll go over the hypocrisy, because it was well fucking documented that the January 6 people, the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and everybody else were well and truly fucking entrenched in Telegram, in Parler, and all of these other backroom dealings with their plannings and their sophisticated fucking organizational skills for January 6th. So it's pretty fucking goddamn hypocritical that they're now fucking saying, oh, the Antifa and the left and American people shouldn't be able to do this, when we're applauding and cheering not only for the actions on January 6th, but for the pardons of the people that were convicted of brutally beating police officers on January 6th, that were engaged in the fucking, trying to not have the counting, the certification of the free and fair election, that were building gallows, that were chanting hang Mike Pence, right? These same people, and it goes on, because that wasn't the only one. You got this one as well that you could put on. The Proud Boys and Enrique Tarrio. It was well established that the Proud Boys later planned the Capitol attack weeks in advance on different social media platforms, on their little group chats. So don't let it fucking fool you. Don't let these little fascist authoritarian pricks fool you. It's okay when they do it. It's okay when they do it to do something against the government, to do something, again, to overthrow the government and to go against democracy. But when the American people utilize social media platforms and different, ways of communication in order to stop ICE against their fascistic Gestapo-like tactics, then it's a fucking problem. Then the Second Amendment is a problem. When Democrats seem to stumble upon it, right? When Democrats do everything possible to have a gun legally, then it's a problem. Not if it's a Republican, though. Even if it's illegal, carried across state lines, even if the bitch got a knife in her backpack and she's crawling through a fucking broken window threatening to kill elected officials while repeatedly denying the fucking claims of the calls to stay back by the officer sitting there with a loaded weapon sitting in her face. Yeah, you can see how the fucking hypocrisy starts. But, let's just finish out this Marco Rubio clip and we'll go on and we'll get on to all of that too. So before I get ahead of myself, all right, let's just dive in. I think there's about a minute left of this and then we'll go on.
Will you advise the president to rescind his invocation of the Wartime Alien Enemies
No, of course
Act?
not. I mean, these are people that are threats to the national security of the United States. But I've described this in hearings in the past, including
So you're saying that we're at war?
We are absolutely, when it comes to narco trafficking groups and criminal gangs that are targeting the United States for criminal
We're in a state of
activity,
war.
There's no doubt about the fact that we're
So then,
confronting them in a
do they-
war like
So there's Marco Rubio confirming to the Foreign Affairs Committee that we're at war, right? In some way, shape, or form, they are treating this situation like we are at war. That's why they've gone around Congress, apparently, and conducted acts of war without actually the approval of Congress, which is what they're supposed to get. And now he's trying to testify for the first time in this whole fucking matter, I mind you, right? I would like to remind you, and it's been brought up a few times, that 5 or 6 months into this campaign is the first time that Marco Rubio has come to answer any questions in front of this committee, which is fucking ridiculous, on its face itself. But, I mean, his answers have no merit. He's saying that we're at war while saying we're not at war. They're war powers. The Supreme Court said it's a war powers action, but don't worry, we can invoke that while not actually being at war. We're not actually, but we are at war. So they want to have their fucking cake and eat it too, and they want to be able to do everything under the sun, regardless of fucking constraints, regardless of constitutional powers, regardless of what the judicial and the executive and the rest of the government can actually fucking do. They don't care about that. They want to be able to fucking play it both ways. They want to play offense, defense, and special teams. They want to punt it and return the kick. They want to have a fucking touchdown and a field goal at the same time, and they want to be able to take a slap shot while also saving it as the goalie. Makes no sense, but that's what they want.
National laws of war apply, and do the Geneva Convention
They're waging
apply?
war against us and their enemies.
And that's another great point. That's where we'll end this one, because if we are at war, right, then technically and legally the Geneva Convention should be fucking in play, right? That's where the treatment of prisoners of war, the treatment of the enemy, right? That's where a lot of these rules come from, and that doesn't justify the second strikes, the killing of the people that were survivors of the first strike that were clinging on to the side of the boat, right? So that would be a clear act against the Geneva Conventions, regardless of what the situation is. Even if you're at war or not at war, it's against international law or the Geneva Convention. So, you want to have your cake and eat it too, and there are rules and there are fucking, legislation against the acts that you've committed in either aspect. So Marco's kind of fucked either way on this. And, this is also the guy that at one point said this. So let me see here. So he's gone from... Where's that? Yeah, I think here we go. So he's gone from saying this to where he's defending what Donald Trump is doing now. So
I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it.
Okay, so that's what he used to say about Donald Trump. So now that con man and fraudster is actually committing illegal war crimes. And now Marco Rubio just wants to just stand in front of a camera and take it. He's going to be the fall guy for this, apparently. You know what I mean? But yeah, we don't know. Where's that on? I think I have it.
Oh, he's calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit he's tall, like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of 5'2".
So he's making fun of Donald Trump for having hands the size of somebody that's 5'2", but that 5'2" small-handed guy apparently should have all the powers, afforded to him by the War Powers Acts that he has, invoked in this situation. So it's just crazy to see where these people have come from. I mean, the same thing with J.D. Vance calling him fucking America's Hitler, and now all of a sudden he's simping and bootlicking and taint-licking for Donald Trump at the same time. It's crazy to see what these people have said, once upon a time and what they're doing now. All right, what do you say what do we got? A half hour, so I got to be kind of careful on what I'm trying to jump into. There was a couple clips here, and we don't have to do anything with the Graham Plattner interview, but I just want to show at the end here where he goes after Kristi Noem, if I could. And I think I screwed up by going back on the Graham Plattner interview. Oh yeah, here it is. Here we go. So I'm just going to play this part, and we'll go on to the next thing.
Just so you know, Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, has said U.S. citizens should be prepared to show proof of citizenship. Yes, you who've lived in America for your entire life, you should probably have your fucking papers on you, if you even know what those papers are.
And again, this is just a quick look at what the conservative side, the 2A crew is saying about what the government, the regime right now has been saying about, gun carrying Americans and the fact that they don't like that anymore. That's not something they want to see. So I just, again, to kind of gauge the temperature in the room, just a little bit of this.
You as an American citizen should be prepared to show your papers to ICE and Border Control. How about fuck you, Kristi Noem and the government? How about no? How about I'm not going to show you my fucking papers when I'm going about my business in the United States?
Right. So you think it's just the left that they're losing. You think it's just the moderates and the independents that they're losing. No. Don't get it twisted. They might not be speaking up as much as Nate here from Valhalla is speaking up, but you can be damn sure that there are definitely, people that used to be in the military, people that are firearms instructors, people that just, have a love for firearms or a fetish for firearms in general that supported Trump, or conservatives or Republicans that are absolutely fucking furious about the rhetoric and the statements now coming from this, this administration. And what's crazy is that the statements and the rhetoric are only a direct response of the incompetence and the inability to hold their fucking officers to justice, like to hold them accountable for their actions. So they had to come up with this bullshit fucking rigmarole of, oh, Jesus, he was an American legally carrying a gun at a protest. I mean, what did you expect to happen? Of course he's going to be shot dead by the officers. And then that has created this huge fucking ripple effect, this huge firestorm between, again, the gun-loving 2A crew, who, to the best of our knowledge, has not spoken up the way that we believe they should be speaking up, but definitely to some extent have been showing their displeasure with what's been going on. So again, this is just another clear example of that taking place.
This is MAGA. What the fuck happened? How did we get here? And we're going to show you all of these. This was Donald Trump today. Let's listen close. It's hard to hear because of the helicopter. Donald Trump saying you're not allowed to have guns. Turns out, not allowed to have guns.
Well, that being said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. You can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. It's just a very unfortunate.
So if you can't hear him, Trump said, you can't have guns. You can't just walk around with guns. Porter says, what about the fucking Second Amendment? Nah, you can't walk around with guns.
Now listen to his reaction.
What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is going on? What am I watching right now? What is being...
And again, this is what you supported. This is what you wanted. And again, if not you directly, the people that definitely watch your show, the people that you definitely associate with, this is what you brought upon yourselves. This is what we warned you about, this authoritarianism, the fascistic nature, his fucking, just blatant disregard for the Constitution, his fucking selfish, corrupt, fraudulent nature. And nobody believed us. Nobody fucking believed us, even though there was a clip. Wasn't there a clip already of Trump saying he would take people? Trump, take the guns. I think that was already a clip from his first term, if I'm not mistaken. Because of all this recent news, it might be tough for me to find without kind of sifting through it. But if I'm not mistaken, was it this one here? Let me see. Let me see if I got lucky. It might be this one right here. Oh, let me bring this back over. Let me make this a little
Yes,
smaller.
go ahead, Mike.
Well, the category you spoke about it, Mr. President, gun violence.
Let me see this. Is this the one right here? Let me see. It might not be. It might be. Give me a second.
Restraining orders. They're called. California actually has a version of this. And I think in your meeting with governors earlier this week, individually and as a group, we spoke about states taking steps, but the focus is to literally give families and give local law enforcement additional tools if an individual is reported to be a potential danger to themselves or others. Allow due process, so no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons in the possession
Or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system, because a lot of times by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court.
And again, this is 2018. This is 2018. How about we take the guns first and then we go to court? Again, totally just fucking dismantling due process, dismantling the entire fucking way that we're supposed to, again, act according to the Second Amendment. And this was, again, the first administration that we tried to fucking point out, that we tried to tell the 2A crew, hey, look, you don't give a fuck about you or the Second Amendment or you and your, the rights that you think you have. You may think so. He might play to that effect. He might do that so he can get your vote. But when push comes to shove, don't think for a second that he's going to have your back.
The due process procedures, I like taking the guns early, like in this crazy man's case that just took place in Florida. He had a lot of firearms. They saw everything. To go to court would have taken a long time. So you could do exactly what you're saying, but take the guns first, go through due process second.
That is just, that's completely backwards. That is just completely backwards, right? But again, just to kind of drill the point home of this not being something like new, something that was just pointed out now, like the new rhetoric coming from Trump, like it's something that he's absolutely said before. And again, just to kind of hammer that point home, let's go back to here because he's pissed. And he says here, like, what is a conservative? And we'll move on after this, but he's clearly like asking himself, what the fuck is a conservative anymore, right? So again, they're protecting pedophiles, something that Nate's brought up in his show. They're talking about fucking every other country and storming this and everything but America first, right? Nate's pointed that out. Now they're talking about stripping you of your Second Amendment, stripping you of your First Amendment, going into houses without a warrant from a judge, which is directly a violation of your Fourth Amendment of unreasonable searches and seizures, right? So all of these things are now stacking up. The people that want small government and don't tread on me are now fucking applauding with this huge government action of ICE and DHS and Border Patrol stomping on fucking American citizens, of murdering American citizens. So everything has been completely erased from whatever the policy list was of, whatever people used to spit out of their fucking stupid dumbass mouths when you ask them why you're a conservative or why you're a Republican. None of that exists anymore. None of it.
Conservative even mean? This is like making me
listen. He says, "What does conservative
even mean?" This is like making me, honestly, guys. It's making me rethink what my own policies are, and what I mean by that is like,
it's fucking ridiculous that at this point in time in 2026 he's kind of having this revelation. I understand. Believe me, I'm not saying like, oh, look, like give him flowers and credit for it. This is just what's taking place now. But the fact that you didn't see this whole Jeffrey Epstein's best friend come in with the Epstein files, the fact that you didn't see this whole fucking bullshit and the corruption with the crypto and the corruption with the cell phones and the fucking cologne and the watches and everything else coming because he was a known fraudster, known con man, was quite literally his nickname in New York City well before he got into fucking politics. The fact that you didn't see that coming, I give you no credit or flowers whatsoever, right? So basically, this is just me using you as a temperature, as a thermometer, right, to gauge where in this kind of resistance, where in the split of MAGA, not only do you lie, but where the fucking numbers lie as well. But the fact that you were like amazed and don't know why this is happening and couldn't see this coming just goes to show your ignorance, or, just the fact, shows how well you've been propagandized in the bullshit that you believed. And now you're like finally coming out of this fucking cocoon being like, Jesus Christ, how did Fox News how did they brainwash me that bad?
I always considered myself a conservative, and no longer a Republican because the Republican Party left conservatism a long time ago. But like, I am a right-leaning conservative, which typically and as a firearms instructor, as a retired Green Beret, as someone who literally trains law enforcement departments, I am very, very confused at what being conservative means anymore.
And again, as you should be, because again, the people that say they want to protect the kids now protecting pedophiles, right? the people of law and order that supported January 6th and the pardons of those people that beat law enforcement agents. You could talk about the people that supposedly support small government, but are totally in favor of Donald Trump going all over the world and brutalizing and killing people, removing dictators and doing this, that, and the other thing while sending the military into U.S. cities at the same time as they're killing American citizens. Like, none of it adds up. None of it you can fucking justify. None of it lines up with your policies or your beliefs because you don't have any. None of these people do. It is all what's best for me. What can I fucking benefit from? How can I own the libs, right? Can I use this to my benefit or not? If not, I'm not going to talk about it. If I can, let's see how I can hammer the libs with it. If this doesn't give me a way to laugh at the libs, or if this doesn't give me a leg up on the libs, if this is something bad about my side, then let's not talk about it. Let's not discuss it. And it's fucking crazy, again, that in 2026, we're like, Jesus, I can't believe that Donald Trump's fucking like authoritarian and fascistic and doesn't care about the Constitution. Wake the fuck up. We've been telling you for over 10 years at this point. 10 fucking years at this point, we've been telling you guys what to expect. And maybe it's been a slow burn, and maybe it wasn't as bad as you thought it could be at the beginning, but look where the fuck we are now. Look where the fuck we are now. We're quite literally telling people from all over the world, do not come to the United States. Do not come here. Not for work, not for holiday, not to visit your fucking friends, not to visit your family, not to go to Disneyland, not to go to Six Flags, not for the fucking scenery. Don't come for the foliage. Don't come for the snow. You stay your ass wherever the fuck you're at, in Europe, in Asia, wherever the fuck. Do not risk your freedom by coming to this fucking country for absolutely no benefit whatsoever, so that somehow you could be wrapped up in all of this because of some tweet that you put out fucking 6-7 years ago. Don't come for the World Cup. Boycott the fucking World Cup. Right now, I'm asking people to boycott the United States at all fucking levels. And that goes for people inside the fucking United States too. Boycott the shit out of everything you fucking can. You protest every fucking thing you possibly can. The longer and the fucking more intense a general strike, the more intense the uprising from the fucking citizens and the community is, that's when the fucking point is going to get across. So, all right, let's dive into I know we got a few more aspects and I'm running out of time. It's tough to get everything in, but let's dive into, what should we dive into? Let's dive into this crazy moment from today at one of Trump's speeches, and then we'll go into Tim Pool, and then we'll probably finish up with Donald Trump Jr. How about that? I know that's not the best lineup. I don't know if I'm enticing too many people with that lineup, but we're going to make fun of them. We're going to go over the hypocrisy. We'll call them out their bullshit and all that. So we'll make it at least a little bit more entertaining than just watching these schmucks. All right. So just for the time's sake, this is one of the wilder moments. And look how fucking cringe and crazy and like detached from reality these people are. Look at this moment today. Look at this moment.
With us.
Play.
All the way, right, Alex? She's been with us all the way. Just want to thank her. And
who do you think he's talking about?
It isn't so easy.
Bet you didn't see this one coming. Well, maybe you did. Check it out. All right, look at this. So it's Nicki Minaj. He just called up on stage. Nicki Minaj, who is desperately seeking a pardon for her. I don't know. Was he like a pedophile? Was he like a sexual assaulter? Some sort of, I'll get it right just so I can get it right. Nicki Minaj boyfriend. Nicki Minaj boyfriend crime. Let's see, because I don't want to slander anybody. I just want to make sure I get it right. Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, has well-documented criminal history that has caused significant controversy since the couple went public in 2018. Convictions for attempted rape, manslaughter conviction, and more recent legal issues regarding sex offender registration and harassment. So let me just so we can get all of the facts and figures straight on maybe why Nicki Minaj is doing what she's doing. Is let me throw this on the screen. There you go. So attempted rape 95, manslaughter 2006, registered sex offender due to his 1995 conviction. Petty is a level 2 registered sex offender. Legal troubles after marrying, failure to register in California as a sex offender, harassment lawsuit in 21 and 22, threatening remarks and a probation violation in 23, unpaid judgment in 24 of nearly $500,000 on that one. So, I mean, I'm just curious as to why she's playing this card now. It might be this. Might just be a little bit of this. I'm just saying. And I lost my earphone, so hold on. I was getting too excited on that one. But just look at how like ridiculous and crazy this moment is. Like, look at the cringeworthy moment of this fucking situation. Look at, she doesn't even have anything to say. She has nothing to fucking get up there and contribute. Watch how crazy this is. Ugh, what in the fuck is happening? What is happening? What world am I living in? Go ahead, say a few things, Nikki. Give us all of these, tell us why you love Trump and, all of the great things he's done. Watch this fucking just cringe-worthy moment here.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan.
That's always good. I'm sure that's something your fans always want to hear. You know this pedophile behind me? You know this fucking, the most well-known pedophile protector that's standing behind me, who almost definitely had some engagement with the sexual crimes, doesn't want the Epstein files to be released. See this guy fucking right behind me? I am his #1 fan. And to all the children that listen to my music, I'm sorry, but I have to say that in order to get my boyfriend this pardon. Otherwise, he's going to be screwed. So just forgive me, but don't forgive me because I'm serious.
And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more. And it's going to motivate all of us to support him more. We're not going to let them get away with bullying him. And
I mean, just clearly in touch with reality at the same moment in time that Donald Trump's experiencing his lowest poll numbers he's ever fucking had as president, right? Since he entered politics. So no other way to be like, I watch Fox News and nothing other than Fox News by coming out and saying this horse shit.
The smear campaigns, it's not going to work. Okay.
Those smear campaigns, the Epstein files, the smear campaigns from Stormy Daniels, E. Jean Carroll, these smear campaigns, the one that, he was actually found guilty of civilly for his sexual assault, and the subsequent, the defamation cases against E. Jean Carroll. Yeah, those things.
Okay. He has a lot of force behind him, and God is protecting him.
Yeah, I mean, God typically does love those pedophiles, man. I mean, that's probably why so many of the priests that he has working in his churches end up actually touching little kids at the same time. It's just the power of God, I guess, just compelling them to just touch all of these fucking little kids. That's just, if anybody's going to be protected by God, apparently it's going to be the guy that's now obstructing the biggest child pedophilia ring in history from being fucking uncovered and the people being found and held accountable. That, again, apparently if you go into the church, that'll be the first thing you see up there is like, God bless all the pedophile protectors. Again, that's like, what is that, the 9th? That's the 8th station on the cross, I think. I forget now. It's been a while since I did CCD. But again, just a ridiculous moment at what's taking place in the streets of the United States, what's taking place with our allies. And look at his fucking dumb mug behind Nicki fucking Minaj, who has absolutely nothing to offer or bring to the table. And then you got this douchebag from Shark Tank who I would pay money to have this guy end up in a Shark Tank. I can tell you that much. The guy brings absolutely nothing to the plate, and he thinks that entrepreneurs and billionaires are the fucking most the most, what do you want to call it? The most diminished community, right? They are the most, the people that are getting stepped on the most are the 1%, the billionaires, right? That's what he'd want you to believe. But I would not be afraid. I would not be scared. And I would not fucking, shy away from the fact that they actually turned the show Shark Tanks into an actual Shark Tank and threw that motherfucker in there. I can tell you that much. All right, let's dive onto this because we're running out of time here. This is Tim Pool giving his 2 cents on what took place in Minneapolis with Alex Preddy. And again, just more outright ridiculousness. And somehow Tim Pool still managing to find a time and a place to wear a winter beanie in Florida, because Tim he was too scared to stay at his ranch in Texas because apparently the hunting got a little too close, and he took the people out there hunting for people shooting at his compound. So yeah, he fled to Florida, but somehow found the cold area in Florida because he still got his beanie on. But let's dive into this. This is just about a minute or two as well.
Donald Trump's unconditional surrender. At least that's how many people largely see this. And boy, are Trump supporters pissed off. Well, you got to.
I mean, do you hear that, right? So that's again, I didn't bring that up in the earlier piece, but where Nate from Valhalla was also talking with Graham Plattner, they were also bringing this up as like a complete fucking backtracking, a complete fucking reversal, the waving of the white flag, basically by Donald Trump, taking out Bovino and putting in Tom Homan. And you can see Tim Pool here kind of, reciting the same type of bullshit that he's probably seeing on Twitter from a lot of these fucking MAGA accounts.
Mix. You got some people who back Trump saying, what is this? You're pulling Bovino out? They're withdrawing their prosecution of Don Lemon? What in the world is happening? Trump says that he called Tim Walz and Mayor Frey, and they're going to have a conversation on how to work together. It looks like Trump is backing down. The Wall Street Journal is telling him to pull out of Minnesota. Give it up. Democrats are in open insurgency, and that's
Again, this is the point of playing this. I want you to really fucking listen and pay attention to not only Tim, but Donald Trump Jr. Try to press upon you. Try to get it fucking into your head that this is an organized resistance led by some well-funded group of paramilitary fucking folks, right? This is not just, spontaneous reaction by the fucking populace, by people pissed off that find themselves in the same situation, utilizing different social media platforms and different communication techniques in order to kind of, figure out where each other are. Right. So there's a big difference between using Telegram and using Twitter to send a DM and be like, hey, I'm on 67th and fucking Terrain. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll meet you there. Or, hey, we just spotted ICE officers on this street. And here's the fucking license plate and the type of vehicle they're driving. So, and that in like a paramilitary group that is actively trying to, again, go out and attack, go out and like shoot or try to corner or try to literally stop in its tracks these ICE agents and DHS agents with like brutal force, overwhelming force. That's what they want you to believe. That's what they want you to believe, and the American people to believe is happening on the streets. It's not, again, spontaneous reaction by just people in this country that are fed up. It is an organized revolt by, again, the George Soros paramilitary group.
Not an exaggeration. I'll show you the post breakdown, but we know exactly what's been going on with these leftists. Alex Preddy, while it appears to have been, I don't want to call it an accident, but unfortunate circumstances. I don't think the guy was trying to murder or massacre anybody, but he certainly was prepared to.
I'm sorry. He was prepared to, and by what fucking evidence are you pointing out? He didn't listen to this statement. Listen how stupid this statement is.
Democrats are in open insurgency, and that's not an exaggeration. I'll show you the post breakdown, but we know exactly what's been going on with these leftists. Alex Preddy, while it appears to have been, I don't want to call it an accident, but unfortunate circumstances. I don't think the guy was trying to murder or massacre anybody, but he certainly was prepared to.
I don't think the guy was trying to murder or massacre anybody, but he was prepared to. And by what fucking evidence? What fucking evidence are you using to come to that realization, to come to that fucking set of circumstances that you're saying he was out there prepared to massacre people because he had a legal firearm that he had 2 extra clips for? I mean, what massacre was he out there trying to perpetrate? Typically, again, in recent memory, we've seen people go out and actually try to perpetrate massacres. They got backpacks on full of fucking knives and guns and fucking grenades and extra clips and ammunition and body armor. Where in the evidence of anything that we've seen so far on social media or the news or body cam has suggested to you that he was out there prepared to fucking commit a massacre? What just horrendous bullshit this is.
I think that's fair to say. I don't think
it's not fair to say. It's fucking asinine to say. And it's clearly because your beanie is squeezing that fucking dense little fucking skull you have too tight, right? Take it off. Let your head breathe a little bit because clearly there's not enough oxygen getting to that son of a bitch.
Was there with the intent to. Look, he's fighting cops. He's resisting arrest.
Didn't fight cops. Didn't resist arrest. Didn't fight cops. Didn't resist arrest. Quite literally, it was protecting a woman that was being beaten by those fucking agents. So I don't know. Again, bullshit, lies, propaganda.
It's not a protest. He showed up
No, they were protesting. That's absolutely what it was. That's why you see the people in the fucking streets with the signs. That's a protest. That's what you call that. I know you've never done it because you've never actually been fucking, believing in something enough to actually bring yourself out there to do that. And again, with all the Russian money you've been taking in, why the fuck would you risk yourself out there in the streets? You could just sit back on your couch and take that tenant money, that sweet, sweet fucking Kremlin money, and spend that, that money that you didn't give back even after you found out it came from Russia. Yeah, that same fucking fund.
Tracking on duty with an insurgent group. Okay, I got to make sure I clarify this because this is important for people to understand. Preti was reportedly part of a paramilitary group organized by activists as well as Democrats in the state.
Did you hear that? Now, Preti was part of a paramilitary group. That's what they want you to believe. He was now part of a paramilitary group because there was an active response by the community to say, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to respond. This means this. We're going to use this website. And again, to communicate, and we're going to tell you where the ICE offices are. We're going to tell you where the protests are. That is just 2026 and the American people using whatever fucking technology is afforded to them in order to communicate with other people. That is not an active paramilitary group or evidence as such. That's insane.
Governments and potentially law enforcement, they had shift duty. They had shift. It's not an exaggeration. We've learned.
Shift, again, this whole, you can make it sound as official as you want, but shift duty, when somebody else shows up, another person goes home, I don't think it's actually that fucking set in stone. I don't think they're punching a time clock. I don't think they're fucking got their time card in there and they got to report to their boss when they're on fucking scene. No, it's like, hey, we have a bunch of people here that may have to go home and go to work. Is there somebody else or a group from other places that could come in and maybe fill their spot for a couple minutes? Whatever. This is just the most mundane bullshit that you could possibly have going on with DMs and Telegram and people just actively trying to get, license plates and vehicle registrations out there to alert the communities of where these fucking people are, where they might be moving to next, how you could get involved. It's to establish this as some sort of paramilitary group that needs to have U.S. law enforcement, U.S. military groups combating them in the streets is beyond asinine.
Learned all this from the signal releases. They would go on duty patrolling districts.
And again, here's because I know we're running out of time, but here's another asshole kind of trying to get you to believe the same shit. Listen to this. Here's Don Jr., Coke Jr. trying to get you to believe the same thing.
Agitators to illegally disrupt immigration enforcement operations and even ransack a local hotel where the rioters believed the ICE agents were housed. Time and time again, we have agitators showing up to impede ICE operations and getting into confrontations with ICE agents and then resisting arrest.
Again, nobody resisted arrest. The ICE agents were, in fact, the ones to instigate, to escalate, and then to fucking murder. So instigate, escalate, assassinate. That's basically the policy premise of these agents, okay? Right? Abuse, attack, escalate, and then assassinate. Brutalize, attack, and then assassinate the people. That's kind of their policy belief now.
Biting off an agent's fingers. And with Waltz and local authorities seemingly on the side of the rioters, federal law enforcement is having to defend themselves from these violent mobs by themselves.
Violent mobs, not the violent mobs that are going around perpetrating the violence, right? And again, he tries to show here, I'm going to fast forward because I know we're running out of time, but this is where he shows, I don't know, some work from some asshole who thinks he discovered something on Twitter. I don't know if it's Nick Sorter or one of these fucking idiots, Cam Higbee, one of these morons kind of stumbled on or got access to one of these Telegram channels with a lot, with this information going by, and they think that this is justification and evidence of a paramilitary group, right? Listen to this.
Is stunning.
Listen. So this is just basically a screenshot of I'm assuming a Telegram channel or something that is giving people, advice, information, telling you how to go out and best protest, how to be the most effective, right? Fucking where people are, the license plates and stuff. But again, this is not evidence of a paramilitary group. This is Telegram and other channels being used as they are intended to be used. Other people, citizens communicating with one another. Establishing where they should be, how pissed off they are, getting into groups. This is just pure organization by fucking the citizens. Nothing more and nothing fucking less than that. But listen to how he describes it.
A training manual. And in those chats. Each area of Minneapolis has its own signal group, sometimes multiple groups. They use emojis to designate their roles.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if a certain group actually used Telegram and actually used like different media sites in order to fucking like get across some sort of like illegal act or like an insurrection or anything? Geez, that would be crazy if that happened, because like I don't know if we could actually find out or establish any situation in which the Republicans and conservatives and right-wing nationalists ever used Telegram or social media in order to congregate and organize an actual revolt or insurrection on the United States. I don't know if there's any evidence in which we could point to at all to suggest any of that even happened. I mean, I know it would be difficult in order to do that, but I'm just doing my best to kind of point that out there. But we'll have some more time on tonight's show. Unfortunately, out of time on today's, but we'll be right back with you this evening at 8:30 here on the East Coast, which is 5:30 over there on the West Coast. We're going to be diving into more of this. We're going to be diving into more updates and what's going on and taking place with Ukraine as well. So please don't forget that. Also, you can continue to contribute to our campaign with the 69 Sniffing Brigade. So please head over to help.99.co/Boston Brian, and you can contribute to there. We're almost at 30% of the goal, which is unbelievable. I think we're up over 50 something donations already. So thank you to everybody from the bottom of my heart who has contributed. But again, if you can't contribute, just share it out. Again, go to help99.co/Boston Brian, and you can check out our specific campaign to help out the fine people of Ukraine. And we'll be diving into more aspects and going over what's going on in this country as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Jeff over there on this space. Sorry if I'm a little bit over time. I appreciate you guys. Those of you who are over here on Blunt Politics, please stick around so I can thank everybody for their contributions. But Jeff, make sure you're kicking some ass, people. Fuck ICE, fuck Donald Trump, Slava Ukraina, and thank you for everything. I appreciate you guys. All right, so appreciate you. Yeah, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. So you can go here, help99.co/patches/Boston Brian will take you right to that campaign. And again, a tenner, a fiver, doesn't have to be anything too dramatic, but every little bit helps. And again, if you're willing or in a position financially to contribute to, independent creators, progressive creators like myself, I would love nothing more than the opportunity to go chase these stories around the country. If I had the opportunity to go to Minnesota and be out in the streets there, if I could, be out in the streets in Boston and have the time and the funding to do that, whether it's Maine, wherever it may be, I would be very, very appreciative if you guys would pick me as your representative to maybe send out to these places to cover these things live, just like a lot of these other fabulous creators are. But unfortunately, can't do it without the commitment and the contributions of you fine and fabulous people. So again, there's a quickest and easiest way, most direct way is the Venmo, but you can sign up for a channel membership on YouTube here for $2.99 a month. We're going towards 1,000 members, which is incredible for a channel of this size. We're also on our way to 20,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please take a look. A lot of people watch, they think they're subscribed, but you're not. So please go out, hit that subscribe button if you're not, and let's get into thanking some fine and fabulous people. I did have a cell phone somewhere. Don't know where that went. How did I possibly lose a cell phone while I've been sitting here? How does that happen? Give me a second. What the fuck is it? Oh, here it is. Got it. I got it. It's me. I got it. It was me. I never brought it over. All right, so let's get to thanking some fine, fabulous people on the old men's of Vos. I appreciate you guys very much. So first off, Christopher, thank you so much for another 420 contribution. I appreciate that. Thank you as well to Nancy for your contribution. You've been amazing. Can't wait to see you guys in the next Zoom chat. I'll be getting out those dates for the February Zoom. So again, anybody signed up at patreon.com/Boston Brian at any one of the levels on there gets access to our monthly Zoom chats. It's just a kind of hour or two where we sit back and we shoot the shit. It just allows you to kind of put a face behind the screen name of those that you see in the chat every day. It's a good way to get to know each other, and I appreciate you guys for supporting me. That is pretty much the backbone of this community, the Patreon members, the YouTube members, everybody that contributes here. You guys all are the backbone of this community. So thank you to you guys who have contributed. Thank you to Tom and Victoria as always. And then let's get into thanking some fine, fabulous people. Oh, thank you, Jen, as well for your Cash App. There's also Cash App and PayPal. that you could look for as well. So if you guys have any of those are the quickest and most direct ways. So I appreciate you. But let's get into thanking some of the fine, fabulous people on the tubes of you. Started off with Graham. Thank you so much, Grams. I appreciate that. You and being here for 22 months is a huge fucking show of loyalty. The fact that you guys have been here, you're sticking around that long and still contributing is a really good sign for this channel. And I can't thank you enough, Grams. I really do appreciate it. That goes for Nola as well. Thank you, Brian. Keeping it real. I do appreciate you, Nola. Thank you for that $20 super chat. That is a huge contribution, and I can't thank you enough. Hope you're finding a welcoming place in the chat, and I hope you continue to come back for more shows. Cool Breeze, thank you for being here for 19 months. Thank you for being the voice of truth. I certainly try to be. I am no better than anybody else. I am just like you guys. We are fighting through this together, hand in hand, linked arm in arm as comrades. I am not talking down to you. I am not teaching you. We are in this together, and we couldn't be more aligned in our beliefs. And I can't thank you enough for watching the channel. Thank you to Cool Breeze, Nola, Grams, JD. Appreciate you, JD, as always, for your contributions. Same thing with Marsha. Marsha, can't thank you for everything that you've done as well for this channel. And like I said, again, if you don't have Venmo, there is, let me see, there is a PayPal as well. So for, the remainder of the show, if you got PayPal or anything like that, actually, don't even try that. I think somebody said last time that it wasn't working. So let me make sure that that's working before you guys go wasting your time. But I appreciate you guys. I will be back 8:30 tonight for another episode of the Blunt Politics podcast. Again, tonight's a 2-hour show, so we'll have a little bit more time to get more in depth into some of these stories and aspects of what's been taking place with NATO, Greenland, Ukraine, obviously ICE, and inside the United States. So thank you to the mods. I will see you later. Thank you to everybody else. Thank you to the best chat on earth. Let me throw you guys on stage as I get out of here. Thank you to my pops, Bruins, Brian in the chat. Make sure we're shouting out Dad in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Thank you to Eddie, Damon, Ellen, Jupiter Judy. Thank you to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Make sure you're sharing the show out, and I will see you guys later. All right? I'll see you at 8:30 tonight. Peace out, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. Let's go, Shocky. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday, Shocky. Oh, is it doubled up again? I sure will. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. I watched a good amount of it, but I didn't get to see that part. So I'll check that out. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in there. I'll just figure that out. I apologize. To see something behind the scenes. I'm trying to see if I upload another one. Let me know if this is doubled up. I'm just curious if it's something with all of the songs or all of the videos I have. Does this double up too? I don't know why that would be happening. My apologies on that one. I'll have to figure it out. I might have to like delete them all and re-upload them. I'm not sure why that would be happening. Is that only on Twitch or is that on all of the platforms? Intro music is fine. That's weird. Why would it just be Chris says it's fine on YouTube. I got you, Mark. I appreciate that. Intro is fine. Recharge something. No, it's just nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is my physical location. Like I had to unhook everything, obviously, to drive across the country. But other than that, I didn't change or do anything to the music. I'll try to. It's doubling on YouTube also. All right. So I'll see if I can delete them all and then maybe re-upload them. I apologize about that. Nothing that I changed on my side. All right. Thank you guys. I'll be out of here. Just wanted to make sure. Thanks. I appreciate it.